Ready for a real head-scratcher? We're diving into a question that's been puzzling computer scientists for ages. What if, and stick with me here, what if being able to quickly check an answer to a problem means you could also solve it quickly? Get ready to untangle computational complexities, specifically this thing called the P versus NP problem. And don't worry, you don't need a fancy computer science degree to follow along. Think of it like we're dissecting a lecture by Scott Aronson, P's NP and Friends, highlighting the good stuff, making sure you get those aha moments. So where do we even begin with something as wild as P versus NP?
Well, it starts with understanding how we even categorize problems in the first place, right?
Like sometimes the solution just clicks, but can you quantify that click?
Absolutely. It's about looking at how much effort it takes to solve a problem as the problem itself grows. Then
Yeah.
we can figure out how tough a problem really is.
So like driving to a friend 10 miles away is easy, but if every time the distance doubled, your drive time quadrupled, that'd be a nightmare.
Exactly. Some problems get way harder as they get bigger. And that's the core of asymptotic analysis. It's not about exact numbers, but how much harder a problem gets as it scales.
This is where it gets juicy, right?
Right. By studying problems this way, computer scientists have found these groups, complexity classes. Each one shows a different level of difficulty, like a zoo, but instead of animals, it's these fascinating things called P, NP, PSP, EXP.
Whoa, a whole zoo of complexity. Don't worry, we won't see every exhibit today. But let's at least meet the stars, starting with P.
Ah, yes, P problems. These are the ones computers can solve pretty easily, like sorting a list or finding the shortest route. The well-behaved ones solvable in what we call polynomial time.
Makes sense. And then there are the trickier ones, the MP problems.
Imagine searching for a specific grain of sand in a haystack. Finding it might take forever, but if I handed it to you, you'd know instantly, right?
That aha moment.
Yeah.
So that's the essence of NP quick verification.
Precisely. And here's the mind-blowing part. That simple difference, solving versus verifying, leads to one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in computer science. Does P equal NP?
That's a big one. What are the implications if they're the same?
Well, think about it. If P equals NP, anything you can quickly check could also be quickly solved.
Like a cheat code for computers.
Exactly. Revolutionizing medicine, cryptography, AI. Imagine algorithms effortlessly designing life-saving drugs, cracking codes, even composing symphonies.
But proving or disproving this P versus NP thing is crazy difficult, right?
It's like trying to tell apart problems that are truly hard from those that just look hard because we haven't found the right approach yet.
So we're in this world of truly tough problems, the all-star athletes of the complexity zoo, right?
Exactly. The NP complete problems, they really push the limits of this P versus NP question.
What makes these NP complete problems so special? They seem different on the surface.
It's like they're all connected deep down, different costumes for the same problem.
Like figuring out the best route to hit every bakery in town, is that a computational problem?
It is, and it's similar to, say, solving a Sudoku puzzle, believe it or not.
Whoa, how so?
That's reducibility, transforming one problem into another, so that if you can solve the second, you've solved the first.
Mind-blowing. So all NP complete problems can be reduced to each other.
Precisely. Solve one, you unlock them all.
Back to the bakery. If we had a super fast way to solve Sudoku, that'd help us find the best bakery route.
Absolutely. And optimize deliveries, design microchips, the possibilities are huge.
Okay, that's wild. But what are some real-world NP complete problems we might recognize?
That bakery route problem is a classic. It's called the traveling salesperson problem. It's everywhere, from delivery routes to computer networks.
So it's not just about logistics then.
Right. Think scheduling exams for tons of students, no overlapping, that's NP complete too. Or designing the most efficient layout for a microchip, also NP complete.
Wow, they're everywhere, lurking behind the scenes.
And because they're all linked through this reducibility, solving one could impact countless fields.
This is a lot to take in. It's easy to get overwhelmed by how hard these problems seem.
True. But remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. And who knows, maybe one day someone cracks the code, finds a new way of thinking about computation that changes everything.
Until then, we keep exploring, keep asking the questions. But P versus NP isn't the whole story, right? The complexity zoo has even more to offer.
Oh, absolutely. There are even stranger things out there, hidden in the depths of complexity.
Like what? Give us a sneak peek.
Have you ever wondered if there's a middle ground between easy problems, P, and these seemingly impossible NP-complete ones.
A middle ground, so it's not just easy and hard.
Exactly. Some researchers think there might be a whole hierarchy of complexity in between.
So like discovering new species, but instead of animals, it's levels of computational difficulty.
Precisely.
A whole section of the complexity zoo just labeled, "It's complicated, I like it."
One of those is coNP.
Okay, and coNP.
Well, remember, NP is about checking answers quickly.
Right, the aha moment.
coNP flips that. It's about when it's easy to check if something's not the answer.
So the opposite of MVP.
In a way, yeah. Imagine someone says they factored a huge number into two primes.
Factoring, that's tough, right? Especially with massive numbers.
Exactly. Proving them right is hard, but disproving them, way easier. Just find one factor that doesn't divide evenly.
Because if even one doesn't work, their whole answer is wrong.
Yep, that's the core of coNP, easily disproving.
So is coNP just NP in reverse then? Are they the same?
That's the million-dollar question. We still don't know.
It makes you realize how much we still don't know about computation.
Exactly. And speaking of, where does something like factoring actually fit into all this? It's not P, right?
Yeah, factoring a huge number, that takes some serious work.
It might not be NP-complete either. Factoring seems to be in its own category.
Its own VIP section in the complexity zoo.
And get this, factoring links to a whole other world, quantum computers.
Oh, right. Those mind-bending machines.
Quantum computers might be able to factor huge numbers way faster than regular computers ever could.
Because they're so different, they could bypass the usual rules.
There's this algorithm, Shor's algorithm, that could be the key if we can build big enough quantum computers.
So factoring, this seemingly impossible problem, might have a shortcut.
Potentially, it makes you question what computable even means.
It's amazing how much depth there is to this. Always something new to uncover.
That's what makes it so fascinating. But remember, sometimes those complex questions have surprisingly simple answers.
Like that stable marriage problem we talked about, finding those perfect pairings.
Exactly. It seemed impossible, but the Gale-Shapley algorithm solves it beautifully.
A reminder that even in complexity, there could be elegance.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, as we wrap up, remember, P versus NP is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's this whole universe of computational complexity out there.
Full of strange problems, hidden connections, waiting to be explored.
So next time you're facing a complex problem, remember the complexity zoo.
Remember, there might just be a hidden shortcut, an elegant algorithm just waiting to be discovered.
And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to discover it. Keep those brains buzzing, and thanks for joining us on this deep dive.